there's going to be a reckoning that happens among Democrats and liberals in the wake of this, because now the Republicans control the Senate, they control the House, you've got a conservative Supreme Court, you got Donald Trump back in office, and I think there's a lot of people, Dave Portnoy speaking for many of them, who have woken up this morning and are going to realize we don't have to listen to this anymore.
A lot of people are asking, like, how did Trump get more votes than he got last time? Well, here's the answer. Because people like myself, independents or moderates, the Democrats gave us no choice. The Democrats gave us no choice. That was the worst campaign, and their pure arrogance and their moral superiority have driven people away. If you say you're voting for Trump, suddenly you're a Nazi, you're Hitler, you're garbage. Enough.
You're going to see a lot of takes today. There's going to be takes everywhere, not just today, but all throughout the rest of this week. You won't see a better one than Dave Portnoy's, because I'm telling you, I've had it. I'm over it. I knew when I came to OutKick that I was going to lose fans. I knew that. That was a part of the calculation when I came here. Is I have been seen as somebody that both liberals and conservatives can like, Democrats and Republicans can like. I'm making fun jokes on X, and that was not a bad neighborhood for me to live in. But like a lot of people, I have grown increasingly concerned and increasingly worried about the path of this country. I've been a lifelong Democrat. I've said it many times, and I've caught from both sides. I did a television show with Jimmy Kimmel, and I was labeled some liberal, and a lot of people said, "F off, I'm not going to watch your show. You're aligned with Jimmy Kimmel." I was making a TV show. I wasn't in bed with Jimmy Kimmel. When I came to OutKick, there were people who said, "Oh, well, you're MAGA." And then I would say, "No, actually, I've never been MAGA. I voted for Hillary and I voted for Biden." But things change. I had somebody over on the OutKick channel on YouTube call me a fence setter, and I had another person criticize me for having voted for Hillary and Biden, because I guess I failed their conservative purity test because I did that. The one thing that I have learned is you can't please everybody, and guess what? Trying to is a fool's errand. I'm over it. I love this country. I have relatives who served in the military. My grandfather manned a machine gun in World War II. I love this country. I have 5 children. I want those 5 girls to grow up in a society that is fair to them fundamentally, not just in terms of what their reproductive rights are, but in terms of what their rights are to be able to be free to compete against each other in athletics without having someone with a dick changing next to them 3 feet away from them. And if you think that makes me a bad guy, then fine. You don't have to like me. I am over the nonsense. I am over the bullshit. And what you saw yesterday, ultimately more important than this election in many respects, is a cultural pendulum shift that is beginning in this country of people who have seen enough nonsense. Look at Kamala Harris, for instance. Refusing to comment on Prop 36, how she voted in her home state of California, a proposition that was going to increase, and that was wildly popular, by the way, and passed with over 70% of the vote in California, to increase penalties for shoplifting and drug crimes. She was afraid to answer a question about it and told the media, "I won't talk about that with an election coming up." We've got a major political candidate for president who's afraid to say that criminals should be punished. 70% of people in California, in blue California, said, yeah, it might be a good idea to fucking punish shoplifters and drug criminals. The left has lost the plot. It was so funny to me last night to flip it over to CNN and MSNBC and see the wailing and gnashing of teeth going on over there as they try to process how this happened. And right now they're in the stage of attempting to process it that is, oh my gosh, how can everybody be so fascist? Joy Reid called the state of Florida a fascist state on MSNBC. It's Florida. It's Florida. It's not North Korea, Joy Reid. You're the weirdo. You're the extremist. You're the person who goes on television every day of the week and spews communist, socialist drivel and talks about how much you're never happy with the state of America. Well, guess what? There's a lot of us in this country that just want affordable groceries, affordable gas, a safe place to send our kids to school, and the knowledge that they're not going to be indoctrinated into somebody's sick agenda while they're there. I was a Democrat for most of my life. No longer. No longer. Clean it up. Fix it. You just learned that you're not in the majority. They tried to label Trump as weird. They tried to label Trump as Hitler. They tried everything that they could throw at Trump. They tried to shame people from voting for him. No more bullshit. It ended yesterday. And it's going to take a while for the left to reckon with that. Let's take a look at Elon Musk, who I am going to call the MVP of this election. Nobody did more to contribute to the result that we got yesterday than Elon Musk. And thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for providing a forum. Thank you for buying the Twitter platform and giving people a place where they could speak freely without fear of being canceled, losing their account, not having a voice. Thank you. Because the sitting president of the United States, Donald Trump, was deplatformed from Twitter. Okay? They took the president of the United States off of Twitter. If they can do that to the president of the United States, what could they do to you or me? The problems will be a lot worse than having people come to your house and kill your squirrel. As fucking disgusting as that was, and Super Skypoint to Peanut, who probably also deserves some credit as being on the roster of MVPs of swinging this election. We all just finally had enough, and enough Americans stood up yesterday and said, you know what? I just want sanity again. I just want some traditional American values again. So the American people have spoken, and they have spoken clearly. The reactions are coming in. A lot of them are negative. Angel Reese, a friend of this program, tweeting her lamentation about the result yesterday. If we have that, Angel Reese saying, I'm so disappointed in America. Some of you just couldn't selfishly put your pride aside, huh? They don't get it. They don't get it. We live in parallel realities in this country, and this outcome is potentially the first domino in us maybe starting to go in a different direction, because it's time to start listening. And I'll tell you this, if I'll speak right now to the left, you better figure out what yesterday means, because if you want to double down on calling the people who just won fascist, if you want to double down on saying that Donald Trump is Hitler, if you want to double down on that, you're going to have even more people leave you, because that kind of rhetoric, that kind of talk got you beat. It got you beat, because there's lots of reasons that somebody might not like Donald Trump. As I've said, didn't vote for him in 2016 or 2020. But he ain't Hitler. And it didn't pass the smell test. Absolutely bonkers, out of this world, ridiculous assertion. And it did not pass the smell test with the American people. And if you want to keep talking shit on your way down as you're falling from your perch, all you're going to see happen is you're going to lose more races across this country. You're going to see a bigger disparity in the Senate. You're going to see a bigger disparity in the House of Representatives. And you're going to see your party losing its grip on power to the point that you're going to be in a position where it's going to be dictated to you. MSNBC talking about how the issue of men playing women's sports had a bigger impact perhaps than anybody on the left had realized it would have. Let's take a look at that.
And I will tell you, I live in a relatively rural area outside the city. There was a local race there. And the Republican changed her signs, picking up on this, and every sign said "Save Girls Sports." It was just her name for a long time. Mm-hmm. And she said, if you read and talk to people around the campaign, she couldn't print enough of those signs. People were driving by saying, I want one of those for my yard. When it was just her name, they said, oh, it's another candidate. I don't even know who she is or what she's running for. Save Girls Sports. And they were all over the place.
Well,
I'm over it. Call me a bad person. I got 5 daughters. I don't want them competing against boys. Call me a bad guy if that's what you think I am. I think I'm speaking common sense that for about 99.9% of human history, everybody would have just said, yeah, you're right. Where did we lose the plot? I'm tired of being told that I'm weird. I'm tired of being told that I'm out of touch. I'm tired of being told that I'm some kind of a sellout to from the Democratic Party because I believe in things that are just basically rooted in common fucking sense. And I'm not going to apologize for it anymore. And I don't care what fans it cost me. I don't care what friendships or relationships it cost me. I had a man that I considered to be one of the 3 or 4 best friends in my life drop me as a friend last month because of my quote unquote abhorrent political takes. We never had a political conversation. He's referring to this show. I have done as I said I would do. I have kept Super 70 Sports clean of politics. 99%. It's a place still where we can all gather on X and have fun. And as I have also said many times, I don't choose my friends based on their political affiliation. And I don't. I'm clapping back at the left today, and I believe every word that I'm saying, but I've got many, many, many liberal friends that I adore and love because I know them to be good people. But I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not playing ball. I'm coming on this show and I'm telling the fucking truth, 100% unvarnished as I see it. And that's going to be it. And the chips can fall where they may because the bullshit has to end. The conversations that we keep having in this American culture about things that quite honestly don't even need to be conversations. Things that are open and shut cases. Surgery on minors, on little kids to mutilate their genitalia. Taking skin from their forearms or other parts of their bodies to construct faux penises or fake vaginas. If you want to do something like that when you're a grown-ass adult, have at it, and I'll use the pronoun of your choice. I respect all people. Grown adults can do what they want to do. But don't tell me that a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old is in any way equipped to make decisions about their body that are going to follow them and haunt them for the rest of their fucking life. My daughter this weekend, my 14-year-old, she wants to get her ears pierced. A second piercing in each ear, and she needs my permission because she's 14 years old. That's an ear piercing. You can't get a tattoo in this country if you're under 18 years of age. There's a reason for that. There's lots of things you can't do when you're a kid because you're a kid and you're passing through phases and you're going through stuff hormonally, emotionally, psychologically, and you don't know yet. The ball hasn't settled in the roulette wheel. It's still spinning. And you don't make permanent, irrevocable decisions that are going to affect the quality of somebody's life, and shame on everybody that thinks it's okay because it's fucking sick is what it is. It's fucking sick. Do what you want to when you're a grown-up, but I am all in favor of protecting children in a way that until about 15 minutes ago in this culture, I would have been preaching to the fucking choir. And everybody knows it's true. We have people come along and say that, oh, well, this is so different. Children should be a drag queen story hour. Fuck you. I got nothing against drag queens. Go see a drag show if that's what you're into as a grown adult. But don't tell me half-naked drag queens need to be in our elementary schools dancing around with their ass hanging out for little kids. When did we decide that this was okay? This election is a repudiation of a lot of bullshit like that, and it needed to happen. And I'm proud of everybody who sacked up and went out there and did what needed to be done. Let me go now to Nashville, Tennessee, to the international streaming star, Ronnie T-Shirts. Ron, I know you have a lot of thoughts on this. I've made you wait a little longer than I intended to. But I think we need to realize here today that the bullshit ends here. It ends here. And now we start to reinvest in the America that you and I grew up in. That's what needs to happen now. Freedom, equality, opportunity for everyone, but let's punish criminals, let's protect children, let's protect basic fairness, let's protect our border and be a sovereign nation, and stop letting people flood in here illegally, because Democrats knew that, Ron. They knew it until they decided that that was the path to reshaping the electorate so that they could get a permanent stranglehold on power. They knew that. You listen to any Democrat, Barack Obama, Chuck Schumer, we've played it on this show. They were all in favor of a strong border. Having a strong border used to just be a fundamentally bipartisan American belief. It's the left that shifted. I didn't stop being a Democrat. The Democrats left me. They left me. I didn't change. I was left behind, Ron, and I'm going to sit here and lose friends, people that I thought were close friends, somebody that I went to the guy's wedding that I've been friends with for almost 20 years, and suddenly he's going to drop me because he thinks I'm following Hitler. Hey, you know who you are, fake former friend. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm a goddamn proud American. I'm not going to apologize to you or anybody else for it ever again. Go ahead, Ron.
Well, I already clapped. My phone is blowing up right now with friends just basically saying Ricky is on fire. It's awesome, dude. There's really not much I can say that would it would almost be embarrassing to talk right now after what you just said. You were wrong about one thing. And I truly believe you were wrong about this. You showed that clip of Portnoy and said it's the best thing you're going to see today as a response to what happened yesterday. You're wrong. What you just said was genius. It was brilliant. I am so freaking proud to be on this show with you because that was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm done. I'm not going to say anything else. Amazing, Ricky.
All right. Well, look, thank you, Ron. I appreciate that, man. But I'm just here to speak from my heart. I've been torn. You know that I've been torn through this entire process, joining OutKick. I want to make people happy, because to me, it's ridiculous that we lose friendships over this stuff.
So
and
silly.
We can't talk to each other about it in any kind of an adult way. Or, well, I'm not going to follow this person, or I don't like this person, or whatever it is, because I disagree with you politically. I don't pick my friends based on politics. You are in the minority of my friends, Ron. I agree with you politically on most things. Many of my friends, that's not the case. I would never drop somebody as a friend just because we had differing political beliefs. But there's a lot of people who feel that way. And, this idea of Hitler, of fascism, of Nazis, Donald Trump being called a Nazi. Well, don't call me a fucking Nazi. Fuck you for calling me a Nazi. Fuck you for calling me a Nazi. I'm not a goddamn Nazi. I believe in freedom and opportunity and equality for everybody, regardless of their race, regardless of their religion, regardless of their sexual orientation. I believe in all of those things. I'm a fucking liberal by the standards of the 1960s, 70s, or 80s, but I'm not insane. See, that's the issue. I'm not insane. It pushed to a point where I said, I can no longer do this because I don't like the people that I seem to be aligned with, some of them. And I'm talking about the greatest extremist on the left. If you can judge somebody by their friends, ask yourself, who are your friends? Who do you identify with? I don't think it's an indictment of somebody's character if they voted for Kamala Harris. There is a wide range of beliefs that people have on both sides. Not everybody who voted Democrat has gone Looney Tunes, but enough have that I can't do it anymore. I'm sorry, I can't do it anymore. The Democratic Party, there's an opportunity here, and I say this as somebody that you should listen to because I'm just offering you good advice today. If you're a liberal or a Democrat, you need to really pay attention to what just happened because it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse because guess what? Now everybody that is moderate, a little bit, somewhere to the right of the far left. And that's another thing I'm tired of. I'm tired of hearing about the left and the far right. That's some bullshit. Because the left has gone so far to the left that they've fallen off of the earth. And that's why you lost this election. And all of the bad things that you think about Donald Trump, some things about Donald Trump that you think bad about him, he deserves. There are other things that you think bad about Donald Trump that you probably have been brainwashed by the legacy media. The Very Fine People hoax, the bloodbath hoax, the Liz Cheney is going to go before the firing squad hoax. And I absolutely promise you, nobody believes that Liz Cheney is going to the firing squad. She's going to be just fine. I promise you. This is ridiculous bullshit, and you lost to a formerly twice impeached guy that you convicted of 34 felonies? Whatever it is, they love to say that he's a convicted felon. Well, guess what? The American people looked at the guy that you hung 34 felonies or whatever the number is on. It looked at the guy that got impeached twice, and it looked at the guy that was almost killed twice. One time, literally as close as you could possibly fucking come, with all of those flaws, with that resume, and they said, you know what? The left is so goddamn crazy, I'm voting for him. I'm voting for him anyway. So if you want to wonder why you lost, go look in the fucking mirror. You lost because you've lost the plot. You have abandoned and turned your back on basic American values, and you no longer resemble the Democratic Party that I grew up in and that I was very proud to be affiliated with for much of my life. With all that said, let's take a look at what I'm tweeting, shall we? Here's a tough pivot. Ronnie, I was on the ballot in Minnesota, at least on one person's ballot, as I received a vote for the Soil and Water Conservation District Supervisor in Minnesota's Fine District 4. So Bruce Benny thought he was going to coast. He's on that ballot. Nobody else on there, but guess what? I might have to go up to Minnesota and conserve some soil and water, Ronnie.
I'm just speechless, Ricky. It doesn't happen very often, but I mean, how good does it make you feel to know that? I mean, do you think you got any write-in votes for president? You had to have gotten at least one somewhere, right?
What was that?
I said you had to get at least one write-in vote for president somewhere. Somebody had to do it.
Well, I would like to believe that happened, but I don't think any of us want that. But, Ron, I just, it reaches a certain point where you just have to say, look, I'm just not playing ball anymore. I'm not going to agree to pretend that every opinion has merit, and I'm not going to agree to pretend that these things are real anymore. I'm not going to agree to pretend that both sides have good ideas. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And as I've said before on this program, I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent. That's what I'm always going to be. I just don't want to affiliate myself with a political party. But Having said that, Ron, I have to follow my own senses. God gave me a brain. He gave me eyes and ears. He gave me the opportunity to get an education. He gave me the opportunity to teach college for 21 years. I have learned some things, and I'm going to stand on the values that I was raised with by my family. I'm going to stand on the education that I've received in life, and I am going to abide by the principles that I believe are good and righteous and correct. And the chips can fall wherever they may.
Hey, OutKick fans on YouTube, if you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button and make your way over to OutKick.com where you can watch the full episode.